Hi guys, this is Sadik from Droidbin.com, and in this video, we'll show you how to flash the latest Rising OS GSI ROM based on Android 14 on any Android phone. So please take a backup of all the data on your phone and then let's get started. First off, get hold of Android SDK platform tools. So you may get it from my guide and extract them onto your PC. You may extract them anywhere you want. In my case, I've done the extraction in C drive, and these are the files of platform tools. Once you've done the extraction, let's move ahead with the next step. So now you have to enable USB debugging and OEM unlocking. USB debugging is required for ADB commands, whereas OEM unlocking is required to unlock the bootloader on your phone. So let's now enable both this toggle. For that, go to the settings menu, then go to about phone and tap on build number or OS version 7 times. You will get a prompt that you are now a developer. So now go back and now go to system or additional settings, and you should now see developer option. So go there and enable the toggle next to OEM unlocking as well as USB debugging. On Xiaomi phones, you might get a prompt, checkmark, I'm aware of all the risk, and then you have to wait for 10 seconds. Once the time frame has elapsed, just tap on OK, and with this debugging is enabled. You might also get an RCE prompt as well. Again, tap on OK. So let's now verify the debugging connection. For that, go to platform to folder address bar, type in CMD and hit enter. This will launch command prompt inside platform tools. Now type in ADB devices and make sure that you are getting an ID. If you are not getting any ID, then unplug and replug your phone from the PC. Disable and re-enable USB debugging. Tap on revoke USB debugging. Use the official USB cable that came with your phone and use the USB 2.0 port on your PC. So carry out these USB tweaks and make sure that you are getting an ID. Once you are getting an ID, your next course of action is to unlock the bootloader on your phone. Do note that unlocking the bootloader will wipe off all the data and it might make the warranty null and void as well. If that's well and good, you could refer to a guide and the video and get this job done. In short, simply boot your phone to fast boot mode and then use the fast boot flashing unlock command. After that, you will get a prompt on your phone. Use the volume key to highlight unlock the bootloader and press the power key to confirm. With this, your phone will undergo a wipe, and after that, the bootloader will be unlocked. In case of Xiaomi phones, you will have to take the help of Mi Unlock tool to get this job done. So once you have unlocked the bootloader, make sure to re-enable USB debugging once again. And once that is done, you will now have to get hold of the latest Rising OS GSI ROM from here. So go to this link and from here download the latest build. So as far as the naming scheme is concerned, as you could see, till the official build, it's the ROM name, the date, and it's the official release. After that, ARM64 is the CPU architecture. Then you have the BCGN. So by B, it stands for system as root, and near about all the Android phones are now system as root only. So it's either shown as A/B or simply as B. That will also get the job done. If your phone is non-system as root, then it will be A. Nowadays, most of the phones are system as root and only B. So that's well and good. Then you usually have the G keyword, wherein G stands for Google Apps. So it has the G apps inbuilt. Finally, we have the N keyword, whereas N is for non-super user. So the GSI ROM is not rooted. But in this case, you could see that there is also a C keyword. So C simply stands for Core G apps. So it has just the Core G apps variant. And by Core G apps, we mean the following. So let me just show you just a minute. There are quite a few variants of G apps packages, out of which it has the Core G apps, and Core G apps just have the basic Google app packages and service which are required to efficiently run the Google Play Store and all such apps. So by the Core G apps, we means that it has the Google Play Store, the GMS, Google Mobile Services, Google Service Framework, Contact Sync Adapter, and the Google Calendar Sync. These are the only apps that is there in the ROM inbuilt. So that's quite great to see. And apart from that, it's system as root and Google Apps and non-super user because it's not rooted. So get hold of the ROM file. Once you have got the ROM, you will now have to extract the ROM onto your PC as well. For that, please use the 7-zip software. The inbuilt Windows tool might not be able to get this job done. So right click on the ROM file, then select show more option, 7-zip, and extract to Rising OS. It will now extract the file and will take only a few seconds. So let's just wait for that to happen, and then we will proceed ahead with the next step. The extraction might take around up to a minute also in some cases. So while the extraction is going on, in the meantime, let's move ahead with the next step. So next up, you will now have to get hold of the VBMeta file. So make sure to download the same VBMeta file which is currently installed onto your phone. You may verify the same via the stock firmware. So go to your about phone section and have a look at the stock firmware version number or the build number. In my case, it's the 1070 UMRINXM. So make sure to download the same firmware which is currently installed onto your phone. In case of Xiaomi phones, you will have to download the fastboot ROM, then extract the .tgz format via the 7-zip, again extract the .tar via 7-zip, and this will give you the images folder. So go to that folder, and inside the images folder you will get the VBMeta file. So simply copy the VBMeta file from here and paste it inside the platform tools. In case of Pixel, you will have to download the entire factory image and not the OTA image. After that, simply extract the zip file via 7-zip and you will get the VBMeta file. Then if you talk about the OnePlus phone, then they usually have the firmware in a zip format, but after the extraction you will get a payload bin file. So you will have to get a hold of Fireboot Enhance tool, then transfer the payload bin file from the stock firmware inside the Fireboot Enhance tool. Now launch the Fireboot Enhance tool, and after that it will take a few seconds to load. In the backend, the GSI ROM is also being extracted, so it might take a little bit longer to launch the tool. It will not be the case if in your case you have already done the extraction, then it should not take that much longer. But since a couple of things are going in the backend, the tool might take a few additional seconds to load. So with this, we are now inside the tool. So go to the payload dumper tab, click on browse and select the payload bin file, click on open. Go to the partition tab and choose the VBMeta file from here. Then checkmark allow incremental and extract image. Choose a location, click OK. And with this, we have got the file. So simply copy the file from the location and transfer the VBMeta file inside the platform tool folder on your PC. So once you have got the file, transfer it here inside the platform tools. Likewise, the GSI extraction is also done. So let's now transfer the GSI file as well inside the platform tools. So this is the Rising OS GSI ROM. Copy the ROM file from here and transfer inside the platform tools. It will take a few seconds for that to happen, and the file has been transferred. Now for the ease of convenience, let's rename the file to something shorter. So let's just rename it to GSI and the complete name becomes gsi.img. Once that is done, let's now proceed ahead and flash these files. So for that, you will have to boot your phone to the fastboot mode. So type in adb reboot bootloader and hit enter, and your phone will now reboot into fastboot mode. It will take around 4 to 5 seconds. After that, you will have to verify the fastboot connection as well. So type in fastboot devices and make sure that you are getting an ID. If you are not getting any ID, then you will have to install fastboot drivers on your PC. So I made a separate guide and a video on the same. You could refer to a guide and get this job done. Then right click on the Windows icon and choose Device Manager and expand the Android phone section and make sure that your phone is being shown as Android bootloader interface. So this, as well as the serial ID next to fastboot, signify that our PC is able to read the phone in fastboot mode, and we are now good to go ahead. So first and foremost, we will have to disable the verification by flashing the VBMeta file. So simply copy the command and paste it in the CMD window. It will flash the VBMeta file and then turn off the verification, which in turn will allow us to flash the GSI ROM. It will simply disable the AVB or the Android verified mode. Once that is done, you will now have to boot your phone to the fastboot D mode. So type in fastboot reboot fastboot and hit enter. I have also given the command in my guide. You could simply copy the command from here and your phone should now reboot into the fastboot D mode. The fastboot D screen might vary depending on the phone that you are using. In my case, I am using a Xiaomi phone and this is the fastboot D screen. In case of Pixel, you might see the same in the screenshot. Anyways, moving on. Now you will have to remove the product A partition so as to make space for the GSI ROM. So copy this command and paste the command in the CMD window and hit enter, and the product A partition has been removed from our phone, and now we must simply flash the GSI ROM. So type in fastboot flash partition name, which is system, and the file name, which is gsi.img, and hit enter, and the flashing of the GSI will now start. As you might be aware, the GSI ROM is a system partition file which is broken down into smaller sub partition. In our case, it's broken down into 13 smaller sub partition file, and each of these files will now be flashed onto your phone one by one and will take only around a couple of minutes. However, if you are still getting an error message with regards to not enough size to resize the partition file or something like that, then in that case, make sure to reboot your phone to the fastboot mode, then again reboot to fastboot D mode, and this time also remove the product B partition. So apart from product A partition, also remove the product B partition, or simply if you want to only remove the product A partition, then simply make sure to flash the system file in the system A partition itself. By default, in my case, it is being flashed to the active partition, but it might be the case that the GSI ROM in your case might be flashing to the system B partition, whereas you have removed the product A partition. So in that case, either remove the product B partition or flash this GSI ROM in the system A partition. Both the things will work. Apart from that, always use the vanilla non-GApps build, as it will be somewhat light in weight and it will have only none of the Google apps, so it will be quite easier to flash because the system partition size might be smaller in your case, so that will rectify the issue. With that said, only a couple of files are left to be flashed, and this is the last file which will flash. And once the flashing has been done, you will now have to do a format data. This will wipe off all the data from your phone. So type in fastboot space -w and hit enter, and all the data has now been wiped. Finally, type in fastboot reboot and hit enter. All these commands are there in my guide as well. You could refer to my guide and copy paste the command as well. So guys, the first boot up will take up some additional time frame. This is completely normal. From the subsequent time, that will not be the case. Moreover, let's wait for the boot animation to appear, which will signify that the flashing has been done successfully. The first boot animation should now appear. As you could see, it's the boot logo, and the flashing is now done successfully. So let's wait for a few seconds for the phone to boot up, and then we'll verify the GSI ROM and check out the features as well. Since it's a GSI, it's a generic image, and the flashing steps are same across all the devices. And I have also made a separate guide on this. Just give me a minute. First off, let's set up our GSI ROM. So you will get a few seconds wait time, so just wait for that, then tap on get started. Then let me skip this as well. As of now, I am setting my phone offline, so let me skip this as well, and it will take just a few more seconds for our phone to boot to the OS. And with this, we are now inside the OS. Well, the wallpaper somewhat is confusing because half of the icons get merged with the white portion of the wallpaper. You are free to change the wallpaper as you want, but this white section tends to overlap the icons. Apart from that, as you could see, we only have a few Google apps and nothing as such, so that's quite great to see. And this is the QS tiles. Then let's go to the settings menu, and this is the customizable settings option, and let me check for the customization options. Rising OS. So this is the personalization section, and from here you may tweak the ROM as per your convenience. So first off, let's go to the lock screen, and from here you may change the lock screen clock and widget. So custom clock style, let's choose from a custom clock style. Well, there are quite a lot to choose from. Let me choose the clock stylish. So there is no preview option. I'll have to lock and unlock my phone to check it. As you could see, this is the new clock style. Let me close this one. This looks quite nice, but there are quite a lot of options, and I have to randomly place it. So let me now go with the iOS style clock, and it's quite basic, but this is how iOS looks like. Then this is the Oxygen OS clock style, and it's also quite basic in nature. So let me go with the clock stylish and have a look with this. This is the one which I like the most. Apart from that, you may also add lock screen widgets, which is quite great to see. Let me enable device info widget. So apart from that, you may add quite a few widgets. So big widget 1, I am just adding them randomly. Big widget 2, media player, let's suppose. Apart from that, mini widget as well, let's say clock timer. Mini widget 2, let's say torch. Then mini widget 3 could be the weather, and the last one could be the Wi-Fi. So we have added two large widgets and 4 mini widgets. Once that is done, let me now verify the same. So just a minute, and as you could see, the widgets have been added and they look quite nice. I haven't seen this option in any other AOSP or even GSI ROM till date, so it's quite a great addition. And apart from that, let's have a look at few other tweaks. Depth wallpaper is also there, so it's iOS style depth wallpaper, and you may change the opacity as well as the transparency of the wallpaper effect. And as you could see, the widgets are now overlapping. The wallpaper is now at the back end. The depth effect is now in place, and you may also show or hide the battery info, show or hide the battery the weather information in the lock screen as well, weather update, current location. For this you will have to keep on enabling GPS, which will lead to additional battery drainage as well. Double tap to sleep, so double tap on the lock screen to sleep. So let me check it out. So it's working well and good. Double tap to wake is currently not working. I might have to enable that feature as well. So you have a few fingerprint customization effect as well, such as the ripple effect as well as the fingerprint authentication vibration. Then this is the theme store. So AOD, let me first show the AOD. So wake screen for notification, always show time and date info. Let me show the AOD. So as you could see, this is the AOD, and the AOD with this clock style looks quite amazing. So I will keep this enabled. Again, keep in mind that this will lead to additional battery drainage. So if you value the UI and UX over the battery, then you might keep them enabled. Apart from that, you may also enable the edge lightning, and this will light up the edges of your phone as soon as you receive a notification. And you may also tweak the color of the lightning as well. Apart from that, font style. So there are quite a lot of font styles to choose from. Let's go with the, I guess it's Rimku. Let me apply it, and the changes have been implemented. Then let me go back, and the third is the icon pack. Again, there are quite a lot of icon packs to choose from in the status bar. So let me enable a few options. Okay, not the alarm. Let's go with the auto rotate, Bluetooth and DND. And let me now show you the result. Just keep a track on the status bar, and the icons will now change. As you could see, it's currently being changed. This is the Samsung one which I've just applied. Then this is the Kai OS. I guess it was there earlier on some Samsung phones. And apart from that, this is the one from Oxygen OS. Then this is the outline, and let's go with this one only, the outline one. Then let's go back, and then we have the icon shape. Whatever you choose from here will be implemented in the app drawer as well as the home screen. So let me go with the square circle. This looks quite nice. I always go with this option only. It might take a couple of seconds for the changes to be implemented. It's completely normal, and as you could see, the change is implemented now. And apart from that, this is the Monet theming setting. Theme style, you may choose from these theme style. There are a couple of different theme styles to choose from. Sprints, let me have a look at this. It's quite dull. The vibrant, I want a complete black. Let me see if that is there or not. Fruit salad, and so you might see some system UI restart while applying these themes. This is completely normal and nothing to worry about. Monochromatic, no, that is not what I was looking for. Clock, vibrant. So I cannot find the one which is the complete black as of now. Okay, so you may also change it to blue color and choose the color from here as well. And well, it's still not completely black. Anyways, you may also change the background color and change it to the one of your choice. And let's now see, again, not completely black, but it will get the job done. Then you have the navigation bar style. If you're using 3-button navigation, then you may choose from here. Then there are QS styles from here. So automatic Bluetooth on. So it will not, so beginning with Android 14, as you might be aware, it will now first bring up the Bluetooth menu, and only then you will be able to connect your device. But using this feature, you just have to tap on the icon once, and it will automatically connect with the last connected device or the one which is currently online. So it's quite a handy feature. Then you may add an header image as well. So let's have a look. First enable it, and then let's choose a static image and have a look at the header image collection from here. So static header image, there are only a couple of them. So let me choose this one. And okay, so this is the Avengers. You may change it from here, drop down menu. Then you may see there are quite a lot of options to choose from. So let's go with One Piece. Although I'm not a fan of any anime series as such, but I am quite sure all my user base might be aware of this. I am aware of a couple of, I have seen this figure many a times, so I guess most of you might be aware of this. And apart from One Piece, let's have a look at few other images as well. So then you have a few nature tweaks as well, a random nature tweaks. I am never a fan of these nature tweaks. Apart from that, you may also choose a custom image and then apply your own image from there as well. Go to the gallery and then choose the image from there. As of now, I don't have any image as such, and currently it's turned off. So let me enable the static image itself, and so with this we have got the one piece, and let's see how it goes. Apart from that, we have the battery style icon as well. Again, there are quite a lot of, so this is the portrait iOS style, and this change is for the QS and not the status bar. And as you could see that the change has been implemented, it's the portrait iOS style. I might have to do a restart of the system UI because it's somewhat slow to use. Just give me a second and it will now restart the system UI, and now everything should work well and good. So yes, it's now somewhat smoother, much smoother in fact. This is the battery style. Let me choose from the icon landscape, and as you could see, it's implemented. So you may change the battery from here. Then you may also change the battery percentage inside the icon or hide the icon as well. Then apart from that, you may change the background opacity for the QS styles. As you could see now, the background opacity or the transparency is increased, so it's now the backend is now visible. And the brightness slider you could show or hide. Then you may change the number of QS tiles per row as well as per column. You may also hide the naming scheme of the QS tiles, but that looks quite blank. And you may change the total number of rows in each column and each row. You may also implement an animation with each of these tiles. So let me show you. As you could see, then you may show the data usage and clear all notification button at the bottom of the notification. This is that button which I am talking about. Quite a useful feature. Then you have the setting style. So this is the Rising UI 2.0. It will take a few seconds, and let me show you now. This is the one which we are currently using, I guess. Then apart from that, Rising UI 1.0 and okay, so in this we have just these options. The rest of them are gone from here. Okay, well and good. And apart from that, although I cannot find any major changes in these. So anyways, moving on. Next up we have the, let me select status bar. So in the status bar we are done, and then settings. After that, the signal icon style for the 4G LTE. It's the network carrier data style which you could choose from here. Currently I don't have any SIM card, so I might not be able to show you. Then you have the status bar tweaks. You may show or hide the icons in the status bar. Then show the clock style in the left or right, or show the seconds as well. And you may enable the color icons in the status bar. As of now, I've removed all the icons, but by default you will get the white icons. Upon enabling this toggle, you will get the same colored icons that you get in the app drawer. And then you may add a custom logo. The logo, as you could see, there are quite a lot of logo. Let's go with the Apple, and as you could see, the Apple logo is there now. Let me remove it, otherwise it might infuriate some of you out there. And this is the battery style for the status bar. Let's go with the portrait iOS, and as you could see, the change is implemented. You may choose from all these icons. Landscape iOS 16. The green color does not suits well with the rest of the theme, so let me go with another one. And apart from that, you have the UI style which we had just looked in. Then volume panel. So this is the default volume style. Let me go with the gradient style, and let's have a look at that. So this is the gradient style. Then you have a few other tweaks. Realme, let me have a look at the Realme UI style, and this is the volume panel for the Realme. This one looks nice. And then you also have the Wi-Fi icon style. There are quite a lot of icons to choose from, as you could see from here. Apart from that, you may also show or hide the charging animation or screen off animation. If I choose CRT, then let me show you. So the CRT animation did not came into effect. As of now, it's not working. I might have to do a system UI restart, and then it might work. Apart from that, let's have a few other looks. So with this, we are done with this section. Let me go with the toolbox. And in the toolbox as well, you have the buttons. So you may take a partial screenshot, press the power menu to end the call, long press the power menu to open the torch, and carry out all these tweaks. Then you may add full screen apps, gaming space, navigation, custom navigation launcher, navigation bar, the pixel animation button style for the 2 and 3 button navigation style. Then you may hide the IME button space if you have any space at the bottom. Then you may enable the shake the gesture, and let's say take a screenshot. Let me check if it's work or not. So the screenshot has been taken. That's quite a nifty feature in this GSI ROM. Then you may also implement the gestures across the back, home and the recent app buttons as well, using these gestures if you're using 2 or 3 button navigation. Then apart from that, you could enable spoof option, so enable GMS spoof. So this will give you some pixel goodies. For instance, apart from that, you may also enable so after enabling that feature, you will have to restart your phone, and then you will get a few pixel goodies, such as you might get an unlimited Google photo storage, because your phone will be spoofed to the original Pixel XL, and that is the only phone that currently have the unlimited photo storage. Likewise, apart from that, you might also have to enable a few other toggles to get some other goodies. So I'll show you that as well. For instance, the Netflix spoof should also be there. In case of Netflix spoof, you will be able to get DRM content in full HD. So let me show you as well inside the toolbox. So enable Netflix spoof. So in custom ROM, the DRM Wide1 L1 certification gets downgraded to L3, but using this you will then again be able to get the L1 and watch the content in full HD. Apart from that, this is a 3 fingers gesture. So let's say take a screenshot using 3 fingers, and the screenshot has been taken. And okay, unlimited photo storage is a separate toggle which is already enabled by default. That's quite great to see. You may also enable the smart pixel. By enabling smart pixel, it will turn off most of the pixel, and you will save some battery. Let me show you. As you could see, most of the pixel are being turned off to save battery. That's also quite a great addition. And apart from that, you may tweak a few notification sound option as well. Enabling less boring will make sure that you only get the most important notification. And apart from that, you also have the option for the sound. These are the few sound tweaks that you could check from. You also have the option to turn off the screenshot sound, and the sound engine, adaptive sound engine from the dynamic frequency AAC. So you may check out this, and it might enhance the audio quality. You may change the volume panel to the left or right, as you could see, and you may also enable per app volume control, which is quite a handy feature. By default, the volume is implemented across all the apps same, but using this feature you may change the app volume, and it will be changed on the basis of that app only. The rest of the app will not be affected with this. And then you may also enable or disable the vibration for each of these features, and that's, I guess, just about it. Apart from that, these are the usual features that you get on every AOSP and GSI ROM. You may tweak the wallpaper color or change the color from here. Likewise, you may go to the home screen, and from here you may change the app grid and enable or disable the dark theme from here. And as of now, let me enable the dark theme itself. So guys, on that note, I round off this video. If you have any queries with regard to any of the steps, do let me know in the comment section, and thanks a lot for watching.